Cyrus is from South Africa, but you have connections with Ireland, I understand, certainly through your parents, and you have an aunt living in Dublin. I've got quite an impressive intro here with Cyrus sent me about what he's doing, what he has done. He's Director of Economic Affairs in the Commonwealth Secretariat in Financial and Economic Development, Trade, Small States and the Environment, and previously he was Chairperson of South Africa's Non-Bank Financial Sector Regulatory Authority and of the Ministry of Finance's Advisory Board on Financial Policy and Regulation. And in 2007 he headed the G20 Secretariat during South Africa's term as G20 Chair. He served in international financial institutions, the Executive Board of the World Bank, and was the Executive Director of the IMF Executive Board, representing 21 sub-Saharan countries, so quite an impressive experience. Prior to this, he worked as an advisor in the Ministry of Finance in South Africa's first post-apartheid government, as technical advisor to the Multi-Party Constitutional Authority, advising on finance, fiscal, revenue, and central bank clauses of South Africa's new constitution. He previously worked in economic planning ahead of the country's political transition, and much earlier in corporate banking and project finance in South Africa, and he has worked in academia, and he's got qualifications in politics, philosophy, economics, commerce, private law, and business economics. So I hope you're impressed. I certainly was. Thank you, Cyrus. Over to you.
Thank you very much to honourable ambassadors in the room and country representatives, Councillor McGinley, members of the Reform Group, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great privilege and honour to be here to tell you a little bit about the Commonwealth. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to come and speak. It is true that our first conversation, Robin and myself, was about cricket. Let me say that I'm a very nice chap, but on Wednesday there's going to be a very tense moment when Ireland and South Africa play cricket. So I'll be taking one side. I'm sure you'll be taking my side as well. I'd like, if I may, given that I think this is an open meeting, and I'm coming as the representative of the Commonwealth, just briefly to express the Commonwealth's condolences and sympathy to the government of Japan, which is not a Commonwealth member, and to the people of Japan for the enormous loss they've suffered in the last 3 days, and to convey the sympathy and support of the Commonwealth Secretariat, the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, to the government and people of Japan as they strive to recover from what is a catastrophic crisis. Today is Commonwealth Day, and it marks the founding of the day that marks the founding of the modern Commonwealth. And today and for the next year, our theme is Women as Agents of Change. And we are acknowledging and marking the contribution of women to economic and social and political transformation across the Commonwealth today and during the course of this coming year. And as the Secretary General of the Commonwealth said earlier this morning, women are the people who can bring about real and lasting transformation at every level in society. Unlocking this limitless but locked potential is the very first challenge before the human community. It can open the doors of opportunity for all in the Commonwealth and the wider world. And indeed, in the Commonwealth, we've worked very, very extensively in the area of promoting the interests and the opportunities of women and young girls right across the spectrum of our development work. In fact, we have some programs that we call mainstreamed programs. These are programs in that whatever we do, we try to ensure that integrated within these are, in fact, 3 thematic agendas which stay with those programs all the way through. And one is our program on gender. I'll try to touch a little bit more about that a little bit later in what I say. I think I was given 20 minutes and I'm going to have to rush to say as much as I had written down, because I realized I've probably written down more than 20 minutes of talk. Last year, my colleague, Last year, my colleague from the Political Affairs Division, Amitav Banerjee, was here, I think about the same time, and he was addressing, I think, a number of those that are here and perhaps others, in the context of a conference you had on Ireland and the Commonwealth. Amitav's focus last year was about the political pillar of work in the Commonwealth. And there are two pillars of work that the Commonwealth conducts and pursues. One is democracy. And we have a range of work on democracy, on building democratic processes, on election monitoring, on building administrative capacity to run efficient democracies in the Commonwealth. And he would have told you much about that, and he probably would have told you at the time that we have a Harare Commonwealth Declaration, which was developed in 1991, and that declaration defines the fundamental political values of the Commonwealth. So my colleague Amitav would have told you much about what we do in the area of democracy. Now, it's been 2 years since the economic crisis arrived and spread from the advanced industrial countries to the rest of the world. And we are still sifting through much of the impacts that this has had across the world. And certainly I'm reasonably aware of the extraordinary challenges that you have here. But in many of the Commonwealth countries, in the developing countries of the Commonwealth, the poorest, smallest members, the effect of the crisis has been extraordinarily severe and the impact continues. I thought that today I'd tell you a little bit about that second pillar of work of the Commonwealth. That's the pillar of work on development. And try and outline what we do, in what context, and what some of the challenges are that we grapple with as we try and conduct this work on behalf of the smallest and poorest developing country members of the Commonwealth. And it's my hope that in doing that, that will sort of close some of the circle of unanswered questions about what the Commonwealth does. In that, my colleague last year might have explained quite considerably the work of our first pillar on democratic processes and building democracy in the Commonwealth. Well, as you will know, the Commonwealth is an association of 54 sovereign members. It has about just under 45 developing countries. It has 5 members that are in the G20. It has 32 small states, by which we define as countries with a population of 1.5 million or less. It has 25 member countries that are small island developing states. Some of these, in fact, are the ones that were under threat from the recent tsunami coming down through into the Pacific, and you have seen many of the names of those smaller countries there. And of course its members are free to participate in the work of the Commonwealth, in the work of other regional entities that they may be party to. They are sovereign, and they continue their work, and they associate in the association really as a collaborative consensus building club, trying to help each other in a range of areas of policy work. In that context, we do a great deal in trying to promote development in the poorer, smaller members of the Commonwealth. And I thought I'd mention a few of the things that we do. With the consistent support of many of our larger members in the Commonwealth, let me mention a few. The UK, Canada, Australia, the emerging markets, South Africa, India, Singapore, Malaysia, some of the smaller European countries, Malta, Cyprus, and a host of others who choose to help in specific ways. We collaborate to deliver programs in development across a very wide spectrum of development policy in our member countries. We have programs in health, programs in gender, programs in education. We promote investment into the Commonwealth, and thus far, since a program was launched, I would say before my time, I've been 2 years in the Commonwealth, perhaps 5 or 6 years ago, a program to promote private investment in the Commonwealth. Some $800 million has been crowded into the smallest, poorest developing countries of the Commonwealth through that program. We have developed software for international and national debt management, which is used as a primary debt management tool for over 60 countries in the world. There are some that are truly enormous countries who are outside of the Commonwealth who use that software as well, and that's their primary management tool for their international and national debt. We provide women entrepreneurial training, and most recently in Bangladesh, in Pakistan, in Malawi. We help our member countries claim their sovereign rights to seabed and marine resources, and so far we've helped 14 of our member countries to reclaim 2 million square kilometers of seabed, which is now part of their sovereign territory for them to exploit the natural resources that are under the sea then, and of course the marine resources. We have a very, very strong program of capacity building and support for institutional development in the public sector across the range of our developing countries in the